Welcome to Multiplying Fractions, Day 1. You will need the worksheet that looks like these, which is models for multiplying fractions. If you don't have it, you can draw them in your notebook. For notes, I suggest writing what's in blue. What's in black, you don't have to write. Okay. All right, so today we're going to do models for multiplying fractions. So you will need two colors. I'm going to use red and blue. And yeah, we're going to dig in. So we're going to look at A. And the first thing I want you to do is color 2/3 of the model red. So I'm going to grab my red and we're going to color 2/3. We can see that this square is already broken into thirds. Okay, and I'm going to color 2/3. So, oops, 1/3 and 2/3. I didn't quite stay in the lines, but that's okay. Whoop. iPad likes to. Maybe. Okay. So we have 2/3. Okay. Then we're going to divide the model in half with a dotted line. Okay. So divide in half with a dotted line. And that's about half. Then we're going to fill in 1/2 of the model blue. Okay. So we're looking at this dotted line has divided the whole model in half. So we're going to color 1/2 of that model blue. Okay, I'm going to take my blue and I'm going to color 1/2. Okay, all right. So now the parts that are shaded with both colors is our answer. So you can see that these two have a darker color um, than the red here and the blue here. Okay, so how many parts is the whole model divided into? Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. Okay, so we have 6 parts. And how many are colored with both colors? 1, 2. Okay, so it's divided into 6 parts. Okay, 6 parts. So we have 1/2 of 2/3. Okay, and so of means to multiply. So we multiplied 1/2 times 2/3. Okay, and we drew 2/3 first, or we colored 2/3 first, and then we colored 1/2. And we were left with 2/6. So 1/2 times 2/3 equals 2/6. And if we simplify that, remember, both 2 and 6 are even numbers, so we can divide them by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So 2/6 equals 1/3. So 1/2 times 2/3 equals 1/3. Okay, we're going to practice this more. So let's look at B. Okay, so we're going to color 1/3 of 3/4. So to color first, we'll color the second fraction first, so 3/4. So I'm going to color 3/4 red. So 1, 2, 3, right? So my first fraction that I'm coloring is 3/4. Okay, that's this one, right? And then we divide it into thirds, right? Because we divide into thirds because our denominator of our first fraction is 3. So we're going to divide it into thirds, okay? And we're going to color 1/3. So I'm going to take my blue and we're color 1/3. Okay, so 1/3 of 3/4 is 3. And how many pieces total are there? 12. So 3/12. And if we simplify that down, both are divisible by 3. So 1/3 of 3/4 equals 3/12, which is 1/4. Okay. And when we see of, we multiply. So 1/3 times 3/4 equals 3/12, which simplifies to 1/4. Let's try another one. Okay. So 4/5 of 5/6. What color or what fraction will we color first? We'll color 5/6 first. Okay. So I'm going to grab my red and we're going to color 5/6 red. So 5/6. Okay. And then we're going to color, what are we going to color blue? So we colored 5/6. So now we're going to first divide. Okay, we're going to divide our model into fifths because we drew 5/6. So now we have to look at our first fraction. We're going to divide our model into fifths. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then we're going to color 4 of those fifths. Okay, so so 4 of the fifths, we're going to cover of the whole thing, remember? We're not, so 4/5 of 5/6. How do we write that as a multiplication sentence? Well, all we have to do is change the of to a multiplication sign. So we're going to write 4/5 times 5/6, right? How many pieces is this, or how many parts are there to this whole model? If we look at our solid lines and our dotted lines, we broke this model into 30. Now, faster way to do that, we first broke it into 6, and then we broke it into fifths. First broke it into 6, and then broke it into fifths. 6 times 5 is 30, okay? And then we're looking to see how many pieces have both red and blue. We can count them all up. 20, okay? Or we can also notice that 4 times 5 is 20, okay? So 4/5 of 5/6 is 20/30ths, which also means 4 times 5, or 4/5 times 5/6 equals 20/30ths, which simplifies to 2/3. 20 divided by 20 and 30 are both divisible by 10. Okay. See if you can do D and E. So you can pause this video and then come back and check to see if you got the same thing. So if you would have colored 4/5 here, and then divided the model in half, and then shaded in 1/2, okay? So you should have got 1/2 of 4/5 equals 4/10. Or we'd write that as 1/2 times 4/5 equals 4/10, which simplifies down to 2/5. Simplest form. For E, we did 2/3 of 3/8, so we would color 3/8 because 3/8 is our second fraction. And then we would divide our fraction into our model into thirds. And then when we color 2/3 of our model, so 2/3 of 3/8 should equal 6/24. So we write 2/3 times 3/8 equals 6/24. And if we simplify that down, that is 1/4, because both are divisible by 6. Okay. All right. Let's look at the commutative property of multiplication. We learned this when we were learning multiplication facts, but the commutative property just tells us that the order of fraction or order of factors does not change the product. Okay, so let's look at if the answer would change if we change the order of the fractions. So up here, we did 1/2 of 4/5, right? 1/2 of 4/5 equals 4/10. So I just brought that down here. 1/2 of 4/5 equals 4/10, which equals 2/5. What if we switch these? Okay. What if instead I said it was 4/5 of 1/2? Okay. So we would draw our square or our model and we'd break it into 2 because we're going to color 1/2. So our first one, we're going to color 1/2 of our model. Okay. The second step, we divide it into equal parts based on the first fraction. So we're going to divide it into 5 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to color 4/5 of our fraction. So we colored 4/5. Okay. Oops. All right. Now, 4/5 times 1/2, right? Because of means times or multiply, equals 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 4/10, which simplifies to 2/5. Are these the same answers? Yes, they are. Because the commutative property of multiplication tells us that the order of factors does not change the product. So whether they are whole numbers, they are decimals, fractions, mixed numbers, the order does not matter. Okay? All right. We are going to look to page 245. If you don't have your book, they're on the screen. And I want you to try to use these models to determine which fractions to multiply um, and use of and x to write each equation two different ways and then solve. Okay, so for the first one, I see that there are blue and there are yellow. And what do you know about blue and yellow when you mix them? They turn green. So the first fraction that you would see for A, let's look at blue because we've been doing up and down first, right? We color up and down and then we do the horizontal dotted line. So blue is equal to 2/4, right? And then um, we look at the horizontal and we see yellow, and we see that yellow is 1/3, right? So 1/3 of 2/4. How else can we write that? Well, we can write that as 1/3 times 2/4. So we used of and we used times. And solve it. What is 1/3 of 2/4? Should get 2/12. Okay, so we would say equals 2/12. Okay, 2/12 simplifies to 1/6. I want you to try B, C, D, and E on your own. Pause this video and come back and check your work. All right. So you can check to see if you have the same things I do. Okay. So B, C, D, and E. If you got the same things I did, you can do your homework, which is page 245, 1 to 13, and they are on the screen.